teachers, the goal of this training video is to walk you through some of the ins and outs of organizing your Gmail account, which obviously looks very different than your Outlook account. So first I want to start with some of the things that you can do with the emails that you receive. First off, down the left-hand side, you will always notice a star option and a checkbox option for each email. Starring emails marks them with importance, and sometimes we need to do this when we need to go back to emails frequently. Checking the emails allows you to select them, and then across the top you have some different options on what you can do with those emails. You can archive the emails, which is sort of like saving them in another location just in case if you need them at a later time. I wouldn't want to archive all my emails, but might want to archive something I received from parents that is in the past that I don't want to delete. I can report them as spam. So this is a great way to, if you are getting junk mail through your Gmail, to report that as spam so that Google can monitor that and we can tag those as well. You can batch delete or you can single delete. You can mark them as unread, and you'll notice that they get the bold, or I can then mark them as read. I have the option to snooze emails, and snoozing emails lets them come back up at a later date so that it's more prevalent to me. So if you need to, this is a great option if you have a task that maybe you need to return to at another time. Snoozing that email until that time will help you with that. In addition, you can also add an email to a task. So let's say, I'm going to unselect all these emails. I have this email here. I want to do something with it. I want to add it to a task. I can click here and it automatically creates a task for me. I can set a date and time for my task, or I can add subtasks. I also can organize my tasks and give it details. So this can be great as a to-do list of things that you need to work on, and you'll notice your tasks will always be over here on the right. So if I close out of my tasks, right here I have my tasks. I have Google Keep, which I can utilize, and I have Google Calendar as well. You have the option to move your email to kind of like a folder. They call them labels in Gmail. So instead of moving something to a folder, you move it to a label. So for example, I have a label over here called Google Classroom. If I move it to Google Classroom, you'll notice it disappears from that list. If I tap over here, here's my Google Classroom label. If something is in my email or in my inbox and it has that label, you will see the label appear on the front just like that. We're going to check an email again. You can set up your labels here or add the labels. So you do have two options for your labels. You can move it completely to the label, or you can simply label it as. So if I label something as, let's say I label this as, so we want to label this as a Google Classroom, and I want to apply. You'll notice that it gets the label of Google Classroom. If I don't want this to show up in my inbox and I want to completely move it, then I would use this move to. And if I click move to, notice that moves completely out of the way. So both are considered labels, but the one with the arrow actually moves it directly to that folder, whereas the one with the label leaves it in your inbox, but will put that label on the front of it. So when I click on Google Classroom, I will notice that these two items are in this folder, but these two items are actually still in my inbox. That can help you with organization. You can choose which way you want to use those labels, and then you have some more options where you can add star, remove star. You can filter messages like these, and that's also a great option. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to create a filter. And filters can be great, especially when you start using Google Classroom, because you may be getting tons and tons of emails from Google Classroom and you want them, but you don't want them intermixed with all your other emails. So first, if you have one email coming from that address, you can select that email, go up to the three dots and select filter messages like these, and it will automatically grab the email address that is coming from. You can add other information to the filter. You can search to see what would be filtered, and then you can create the filter. Once you create the filter, you then have to decide what you want to do with it. I typically apply a label to it because I want it to go right to a specific folder or section in my mailbox. I can forward it to another address, delete it, you can mark it as important, you can choose a category for it, you can apply it to matching conversations, or you can skip the inbox altogether and archive it. I would not recommend this for things that you actually need to read. So play around with this. I would try it first on something that maybe is not as big of a deal before you set up filtering for the way that you would like it. Do keep in mind that setting a filter is not necessarily going to grab all the emails from the past that were done in this. Depending on how you set up your filter, oftentimes it's only going to then tag emails from the future. So I can see it quickly pulled all those SurveyMonkey emails. You can search your mail at the top. You can search by person. You can search by a keyword, and it will pull all of the emails related to that. Over on the left-hand side, you have some options. You can see any emails that you've starred, any emails that you've snoozed, your sent, your drafts. Your labels will appear here as you add more labels in. And then new, you now can join a meeting or start a meeting directly from the Gmail screen. Please keep in mind that this is not the place to join or start meetings with students. That would need to be done with either the Meet code or through Google Classroom to maintain that safety with students. There is also a chat option if you were to have Hangouts enabled. We currently have Hangouts turned off for the district, but if you have your own Gmail, you may notice that this is an option. Over here on the right-hand side, we have calendar. So if I select an email, I can actually see my calendar right then and there to set up appointments if I need to set up some type of appointment. I also have the option to open up Google Keep, which is a great way to keep a track of other things that you have to do. And you can add notes here. So it should be noted that the calendar and the Keep don't directly tie into your email, but you can quickly view them. Your tasks would be your ability to send an email to tasks that you have to do later. So the next thing I'm going to walk you through is creating a couple of filters. So we're going to click on the gear in the upper right hand corner and go down to settings. And over here we're going to look at the labels section, and you'll be able to see any new labels you set up, and then you will be able to choose if you want to show them, hide them, what you want to do. There are a lot of default labels created for you, such as starred, snoozed, chats, sent. If you find any of these are things you don't want to see on a regular basis, you can easily show them or hide them, up to you. Skipping over to the filter and blocked addresses. So here is where you can create a filter for any types of emails coming in. So you can use the label option and create filters once you receive an email from that address, or you can create your filters ahead of time. So if you happen to know an address that something is coming from, and you click create new filter, you can type that address in here. And then you can decide what you want to do with that. So for example, I'm going to go back and I want to find I'm going to click on this Pinterest here. And in order to grab the email address, I want to look at the direct email that it's coming from. Highlight that email address, and I'm going to go over to the gear and click Settings. Go to Filter and Blocked Addresses, and then I want to create a new filter and paste that email in here. If you're looking to filter the emails coming from Google Classroom, as soon as you receive an email from Google Classroom, look at the address associated with that. That is the address that you're going to want to put in this blank. You can fill out and be more specific, but if you're only looking for filtering directly from that email address, you would click Create Filter. And then here, just like we talked about before, you would have to decide what it is that you want to do with this email and then create that filter. That will then send all of those emails to that specific section wherever you choose, or maybe even automatically delete them from your inbox. I can see I've gotten a lot of Pinterest in here. So the last thing that I want you to realize, and there will be another video that will show you how to do this, is if you have another email address and you want to set up forwarding, you do have the option to set up that forwarding to another email address. I currently have my Gmail filtering into my NOCS Eagles, and then I choose what I want to do with that email. So there are a lot more advanced features available in your Gmail, but this will help you get started with organizing some